Hello, this is here, and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video instead of Hermitcraft Season Clockwork. We are doing another chapter, and yeah, we are on to chapter 3. And we'll see if we go to chapter 4. We'll see. Maybe not. We'll see how the time goes. We're on episode 33, and we should get right into it, shall we? Bdubs didn't have to wait very long until his friend finally arrived. In fact, it'd probably been only 10 minutes since the call before he saw a shadow from the window in the main room as someone landed just in front of the door. The YouTuber sprung to his feet and practically leapt at the door as he opened it, seeing Tango waiting expectantly with a smile on his face. I don't know why I messed up that. You sure were quick, Bdubs admitted as he noticed Tyler, his friend's escort, landing not too far behind them. Yep. Tango nodded. How are things going? So far so good, Bdubs said eagerly, as he gestured for them to enter their base. He watched as Tango went into the main room and prepared to build something in the middle of the floor. Bdubs didn't say anything at first, as he watched his friend create a small redstone contraption. So what are we going to do for practice today for breakfast? So what are we going to do for today for practice? Very weird. Well, I wanted to test out a couple of things, he replied. One, to see how long you can hold a pulse, and whether or not there are ways you can make it go longer. Also, working on controlling them is also good too. Yeah, I suppose, Bdubs nodded, as he watched his friend finish the contraption, as Tango took a step back to admire his work as he took out a redstone torch. Can you hold this for me? Tango offered, holding it out for him, before Bdubs went to grab it. The torch blinked for a few moments before turning off as the YouTuber looked up to its friend and back down before taking it in his hand. Do you want me to turn this on and off first, or just turn it off with your contraption? Bdubs asked. You need a quick warm-up first, so make sure it's up to speed. If you're okay with that. Tango reported. Of course. Bdubs chuckled as he looked back down at the torch, focusing as he watched it flash on and off a few times before glowing a solid red. He smiled. Slowly, he walked over to the contraption and held a torch over the redstone desk. The contraption activated. The pulsing. That's really weird. Pretty sure he had that fixed. Oh well. Pulsing pistons and trapdoors for a few moments before he pulled the torch away. The torch turning off once again as he put it down. It's looking interesting. Tango nodded thoughtfully. Did you feel anything? Bdubs shrugged, shook his head. Wasn't that much of a difference. Alright, Tango replied. Could you try to see how well you can hold a pulse? Bdubs nodded his head once again as he approached the contraption once more, reaching a hand out above the redstone dust as it activated, focusing on holding the pulse for as long as he could, imagining a line that went on and on, never ending, as he looked down at the dust, seeing it flicker every now and again as he ignored the ruckus happening around him. Dark spots started to form in his vision, but he wasn't paying too much attention to them as he tried to keep a steady pulse. A few moments, the redstone dust finally turned off as he stepped back, stumbling as Tango rushed over to catch him. Are you okay? Tango asked with mild concern. Yeah, I'm fine, Bdubs insisted as he pushed himself away from his friend as he looked down at the machine, blinking for a moment or two as the dark spots faded. You look pretty tired from that, Tango frowned. Maybe you should have a seat. I'll be fine, Bdubs insisted with a smile. Pushing myself a little doesn't hurt, especially if it means I'll be stronger. But we still don't know if getting stronger for you is a good thing, Tango persisted. For all we know, it could be hurting you. I'll be fine, Bdubs repeated slowly, stifling back a yawn as he looked at the contraption. So what's next on the list? Well, I wanted to see if a repeater would help prolong the effects of the pulse, especially with the flow of redstone torch especially with how the redstone torch interacted with you earlier, he said calmly. Why am I messing up so bad? Then let's do that next, Bdubs said as he held out a hand expectantly. I'm not sure, Tango said reluctantly. What is wrong with you? Thank you. Boop. We won't know until we try, Bdubs smiled encouragingly. Besides, even if something does happen, you'll catch me. Tango nodded as he pulled out a repeater as he handed it to his friend. How was last night? Did you have a better night's sleep? Not really, he admitted with a chuckle. Same nightmare, as always. That sucks. Tango sighed as the YouTuber walked over to the contraption again, noting how the repeater was glowing red in his hand as he focused on the machine as it went to life again. The dark spots in his vision returned, but he ignored them, trying to hold the pulse for as long as he could, realizing pretty quickly that he could probably hold this pulse for as long as he possibly wanted to. He continued to stare at the redstone dust that was lying on the floor, glowing solidly red for what felt like forever, before it started to flicker as he blinked, trying to keep focus. Bdubs, I think it might be okay to stop, Tango said as he heard his friend approaching him. I got this, Bdubs said through gritted teeth, his legs suddenly feeling oddly wobbly as the floor seemed to slide from under him as he fell backwards, hearing his name being called before his vision was consumed into darkness. The darkness didn't last for long as he felt himself being shaken as he groaned, opening his eyes to see two figures looking over him, Tango and Liam. The boy must have been nearby when he heard the commotion. Oh, good, you're awake, Tango said in relief. Don't do that to me again. Sorry, can't help it, Bdubs said with a small smile. He managed to sit up, feeling a wave of dizziness as he fell back down. You okay? Liam asked with concern. Yeah, just sat up too fast. Bdubs groaned. I'll be fine. I think that's enough for you two today, the boy mused. Certainly a first. Bdubs chuckled as he looked over at his friend Tango, who nodded. Do you think it's getting worse? Tango asked the boy. Seems to be the case, Liam replied. Whatever he's doing to try to power the redstone seems to drain the energy from him, making him weaker. Doesn't happen when I don't focus on it, I think, Bdubs admitted. We haven't tested that, the boy warned as he held up a finger. Nor do I advise you to try that. We don't know the long-term effects of this, much less what would happen if someone were to splash a potion on you, like weakness. When you're in full focus mode, Bdubs nodded. Got it. I'm not invisible. The boy chuckled. Unfortunately not. The YouTuber sighed as he sat up, taking it a bit slower this time, relieved to not feel that wave of dizzy lightheadedness again. Thanks so much for the help, even though there wasn't much to do, Tango admitted to the boy. Hey, I want to know what's going on as much as you do, the boy replied. Just be careful next time, both of you. We will, Bdubs promised, smiled, as he looked over at Tango. So what now? We call it a day for now. You need to get some sleep, Tango told firmly. We can talk later. Right, Bdubs nodded as he got to his feet. Tango standing right next to him, holding out an arm warily in case he faltered. Once the YouTuber was steady, his friend lowered his arm. What about the communicator, though? Oh, yeah, Tango nodded, smiled as he looked over at Liam. The communicator is acting up. It's probably coming from him. Liam shrugged. That makes sense. It's happened before. Peter said sheepishly. Wasn't able to call you guys for help when I needed it. That's not going to be a problem, is it? Tango asked nervously, looking at his friend, to the boy. Hopefully not, Liam said it was frown. I'm going to leave you two to it, then. May as well, Bdubs replied as he watched the boy go back to the stairs, climbing back up them. Once the boy was gone, he looked over at Tango. You want to hang out for a bit? Do you have something to do? You need sleep, Bdubs, Tango said as he narrowed his eyes. You look exhausted, and after what happened today, you need it. Come on, please. I don't want to be in that nightmare again, Bdubs whined. I'll be around if you want me to, Tango offered, gesturing to the couch. At least an hour, okay? 1 hour, Bdubs agreed, as he slowly walked over to the couch and plopped himself onto it, putting his hands behind his head as he closed his eyes, taking a slow deep breath, hearing his friend's footsteps as he walked around the room before he fell asleep. Chapter 4. A couple days had passed since the incident, the contraption and Tango having long since returned to his base. He missed his friend already, but they hadn't been able to find time to meet up so far again. He certainly felt a little better, having been spared a nightmare 2 nights in a row. Everything appeared to be as it should be, nothing out of its place, and none of mystery is meant to be seen, though that was truly just up to interpretation, because he knew very well that what he saw in the woods a couple days back could have been one of them. He couldn't tell for certain which had been why he hadn't told Liam or his escort about it. It's never always a safe thing to do. Currently, the YouTuber was gathering a few things for a new thing he was planning to work on. Now that he had more time to do it, taking care to make sure everything was in its place. It was a calm afternoon, with few scattered clouds in the sky. The sun was shining high above the earth as it governed. Nothing escaped the golden glow as he glanced out the window, startled for a moment as a shadow passed by the window. He accidentally let go of a pair of shears he'd been holding as it clattered to the ground. A moment passed, the shadow sped past again, till he watched a circle above, for a figure landed gracefully in front of the house. He stared at the newcomer in confusion as they began to walk over the door, looking over to the window, beating eyes with them. Only a moment later did he notice someone walking out of the trees, one of the cause members. Something was off about this. He walked over to the door and opened it as his friend approached. "What brings you here, Grian?" "Sorry for bothering you," Bdubs admitted sheepishly, scratching the back of his head briefly with a hand. No, it's fine. Come inside," Bdubs offered quickly as he stepped inside. "What can I get for you?" "I need to borrow Liam from you for a moment. It's urgent," Grian admitted. "Is that okay?" "Yeah, sure," Bdubs said with a sincere smile. "What's up?" Liam's voice called from the kitchen, as the two YouTubers looked over to see him walking into the room casually. "Can we talk privately?" Grian asked, glancing over at Bdubs. "Not that I don't mind you overhearing, but..." "Yeah, I'll keep watch. You're good," Bdubs said knowingly, cutting his friend off as he pointed to a door just under the stairs. "You two hop in there and do what you need to do. I can wait." "Sure?" Grian asked with uncertainty. "You heard him." Liam smiled with a nod as he went over to the door and opened it. Grian nodded as he neared the room, entering it as Liam followed suit, closing the door behind him as Bdubs waited, wondering if he should try to listen in or let them have their chat. From what he could tell, his friend was looking relatively concerned. Had something happened to his friends in Spruce Village? In another world? Bdubs nervously stepped towards the door, hearing the faint voices inside. Minutes passing by as he looked back over at the window, wondering if any of Mr. A's men were lurking out there. Why would they, though? After some time passed, the door finally opened again as Grian and Liam stepped out, the boy noticing the need to be watching them. "Is everything all right?" Bdubs asked, glancing back at the two of them wearily. "That's what Grian wants to know," Liam reported. There had been odd things happening, and his friends were only just able to get in touch with him. "They couldn't have called anyone else?" Bdubs asked. "They tried," Grian ran, "which is why they called me, wondering if I could get someone to come over for extra protection." "So you're on a mission, then?" Bdubs asked Liam, looking over at him. "Sure okay with that," the boy replied. "I know you have a couple of friends who can help you if you need it. Plus, your escort." "It's fine. We'll make it work," Bdubs nodded as he pulled out his computer gear, looking at it, stored warped images and functions. "Yeah, that might not be a guaranteed method," Grian pointed out, looking at the machine. "I'll find a way, don't worry," Bdubs assured him. "Besides, I've gotten zero hint of the men even wanting to target me." Liam raised an eyebrow for a moment before shrugging. "Very well, I'll see you soon." "Good luck," Bdubs replied, with a wave as he watched the boy and his friend walking out of the door once more, disappearing from sight before he heard fireworks launch. Surprised, the boy had learned how to use wings, seeing that most of the time he'd stayed on the ground, due to having to be around kids in a school. There were no times for electrocuting practice. He shrugged it off as he went over to the door and closed it, feeling a tingle climbing up and down his spine as the sensation of something or someone was watching him came over him. "Hello?" Bdubs asked out loud, warily before looking down at his communicator again as the lights flashed on and off pretty harshly for a moment. He blinked. The feeling soon faded as he took a deep breath, focusing on keeping his abilities off as his images on the machine cleared. He pressed a few buttons as they connected. "Hey, you got it working for once," Tego's voice said through his device. "Yeah, for a moment," Bdubs said hurriedly. "Can you stop by for a bit? Liam's gone off on an important mission, and right now I'm on my own here. Not sure how I feel about it. I'd like to say otherwise." "Where's your escort?" Tego asked. "Somewhere outside, I think," Bdubs replied. "I don't want to call for him in case he gets in the way." "Wait, are you okay?" Tego asked, sounding worried. "Should be, if you stop by," Bdubs assured him. "It could be just nerves. I'm coming over, Tango said firmly before editing as another muffled voice could be heard. Bdubs couldn't be so sure, though. His voice is starting to distort again. Just come over, the YouTuber insisted, just as the machine freaked out as he accidentally dropped it in fright, as it shrieked in static as he stepped back from it nervously. The lights going off again, and he tried to calm himself, but the more he did so, the more he felt tired. He headed over to the couch to sit down, feeling the dizziness return before his vision faded into nothingness. Unfortunately, we're going to leave that there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I will see you in the next one, whatever that might be. Goodbye.